Hi, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Stages Podcast. Today, what I wanted to cover is just the idea behind getting back in shape after you've kind of gone through surgery. So if we go back in time, before I was kind of experiencing the really bad pain and before my two most recent surgeries, to go in and remove the cancer from my liver and from my colon, I was getting up with my workout partner, and Ben Chambers and I were going to the gym every morning, super early, but we were getting in some cardio, and we were also lifting weights, so kind of weight resistance training. But I think what I want to talk about is just kind of, like shifting out of how I was lifting and working out to kind of now easing back into it here. And so I think one of the biggest things is that when you have the surgery that I had, you are highly susceptible. One of the biggest, most common complications that can come with it is that you herniate something again. So because you have this huge incision, one that was all the way from your chest all the way down, then another one that's across that, where your ostomy, and you had your colon that was coming through, and you had your ostomy bag, and then I had that reversed, and so again another surgery, and so that kind of weakens the stomach muscles and some of the muscles that are in that area, and it can push and put pressure on your organs, especially if you're really exerting a lot of energy. And so I have to go back to the gym in a way that makes sense, taking all that into account. So what I wanted to do is just talk a little bit about making some shifts in the way that we work out when we come out of surgery. Because one of the most beneficial things to fighting cancer is cardio, but then also weight resistance training. It can just really make a world of difference. And so I really want to encourage you, if you're a cancer fighter, you need to get to the gym. I mean, like, when in a day and age where if you live in a decent city of population, you can go join Planet Fitness for like $15 a month or less. Hey, I mean, don't drink two Starbucks drinks and invest in your future and your health and get to the gym, right? We just don't really have an excuse. I mean, if you don't like, the culture of the gyms and different things like that, then you can buy the cheapest, bands and resistance and get a couple kettlebells and some things, and you can do that. And certainly during COVID, Ben and I, that's what we did. We worked out in my garage, and we were using resistance bands and some kettlebells and some weight dumbbells and a few things, but we didn't have like some huge bench press machine and all this other stuff. We didn't get too fancy, but it's super important that you make it and that you're consistent with it. So I would start with just this. I would suggest, one, that you get a person who is willing to work out with you on a consistent basis. And the person has to be as dedicated as you are to this. And you really have to believe in it and dedicate yourself to it, because, working out haphazardly or once in a while, well, that's made a lot of groups like Lifetime Fitness and, back in the day, US Swim and Fitness and Bally's, and now you've got the Villa, you've got all kinds of places. They make a lot of money off of those people who sign up for a membership with big aspirations, and um, and then they don't keep up the habit, right? And so they're paying for a membership that they don't use. So don't be that guy. Don't be that person, right? You need to be committed to it. It is the right thing to do. And, I know that, though there's a lot of us who are budget conscious. And so I am too. I'm not rolling in cash money by any stretch. And so I do the whole kind of Planet Fitness cheapo version, but it works, right? And, if, things change, maybe someday I'll graduate to the Villa or something else. But like for right now, That's what our budget can afford. And so that's kind of where we are. So that said, get a partner, right? And get consistent. And I would say try to be there Monday through Friday if you can. I mean, if you can get, I know some people are like, oh, if you can just make it 2 times and five. Hey, I'm always try to do it 5 times a week. And if and then if something comes up, a day or something, you got an appointment, you got to go do something, that's all fine and dandy. But, the important thing is that it's a lot easier to be committed to all those days than to only commit to 2 or 3 during the week. And then all of a sudden you have an appointment or something comes up or you just don't feel like it. Because then you missed 80% of your workout that week. And it's just not going to be beneficial. So consistency and getting in, 4 to 5 workouts a week is really a good goal. That said, I think what I want to address in this podcast is really how do you go back to the gym after surgery, especially if you had to have a surgery similar to mine, where it's like right in the abdomen region, it's susceptible to hernias and different things like that. So let's talk about that. So before all the pain and all the surgeries, we were hitting the weights pretty hard. We were kind of, we're trying to do a back workout. We were doing a chest workout. We were trying to hit legs, as much as we could, even though nobody likes leg day. Right. And then we were doing buys and tries on the same day. And so we were doing a lot of, I grew up, working out for football and working out in the gym. And I've been kind of a gym rat my whole life. And so we can all debate on, everybody's got their favorite workout and their favorite resistance training and weights and different things like that. But I was really just trying to lift, to build some muscle, but really kind of maintain the muscle that I had. But I was, really working on the strength aspect of that. And so we were kind of focused on strength. Coming out of this surgery, one of the things that I really wanted to do is start to kind of build towards endurance, right? Build towards longevity. And so that can be a completely different workout. Now, let me say this. Just because you switch from low reps, high weight to, let's say, low weight, high reps, doesn't get you out of the bulk. Unfortunately, like when you lift a lot, a lot of repetition, you can actually, put on a lot of bulk, right? And so that's just one of those things. So I guess I'm not trying to avoid that. I've always been a big guy, probably will be the rest of my life. But I think for me, it was the practical aspect of what do I need the most right now? And then, as I start to think about the future, it's not just recovering from surgery. It's kind of like, what should I be doing for the biggest benefit at the stage of life that I'm in, and the fact that I have cancer, and, I have to take that into account. So the decision that we made was that we were going to go ahead and kind of do the high repetition, lower weight. And so we'll approach it, we'll kind of split up the body groups and kind of isolate to those areas of the body. So we'll do some, a lot of push-pull combinations for the back and the shoulders, and then for tries and buys, and for chest and for legs and different things. But our goal won't be, ego driven or where we're trying to slap on as much weight as possible. What we're really going to be worried about is, can we hit that 10 to 15 reps or more? And sometimes, like, I think really trying to push towards 20 reps, and so, and then, what you do is, I like if I'm going to do that type of workout, what I have found the most beneficial, and again, this is just me, my journey, everybody's different, everybody's body is different, But one of the things that's easiest for me, because for me to be motivated, I need to see progress, right? And so you're not going to always see progress in the mirror. Like you're just not going to look at it and go, oh my gosh, like look at me. That's great if you're super skinny and any muscle that you do put on just shows up in definition and bulk and you're like, oh wow, look at that. But I'm a big guy, right? And so like I can hide a lot of strength and muscle in my physique and just not really see that much difference, right? And so I'm not worried about that. I'm 50 years old. My wife loves me, and I just want to be in the best shape of my life. And yeah, if I could work out and shed tons of weight and be ripped, that'd be great. But that's not my goal. My goal is this: I want to do at least 30 minutes of cardio, and I really want to be winded during that cardio. I want it to be hard. I want to push myself. And so I can do that through, distance and pace, right? Are the two things that you can really affect during cardio. I mean, if you're on a stair climber or something like that, you can push it a little bit more. You can change angles. And so, I guess the only other thing that you could do is I can raise and lower a treadmill, right? And create an incline and get some resistance there. But you're just kind of limited to those, two or three things. My biggest goal is I want to be consistent about every day, Monday through Friday, and putting in a good 30 minutes of cardio and really having that stretch me, that I feel winded, that I feel challenged to get through the 30 minutes. Okay. And so I don't want it to be easy. I don't want it to be routine. I want it to be difficult. So I can make it more difficult as it becomes easier and I get in better shape. Then I can, increase the pace and I can raise the incline and I can, so in that sense, I'm creating more resistance and I am going faster, which is, going to be more challenging. So 30 minutes of cardio. And then, like I said, we'll break up the week workouts into kind of focusing on some specific areas of the body and muscle groups. And, we'll be doing lower weight, high rep, right? And so, like I said, that 10 to 15 reps, probably trying to push to 20. But here's what I wanted to say. I have found that the easiest way to track progress is to push towards failure. And so one of the things that has really been significantly helpful to me has been, building up to failure, because all of us are just different, right? So Ben Chambers, who I lift weights with, he's got a different body than I do, right? His body's unique to him, my body's unique to me. And so if you just get rigid about, oh, let's do a rep and we're just going to do 15 or we're just going to do 10. The problem is that, 10 may be challenging for Ben and it's not challenging for me, or vice versa. Right. And so when you push to failure, it is really, to me, what I found to be the only measurable, the only measurable thing, right? So and what I mean by failure is if you were, let's say, doing preacher curls and you're doing, lower weight. So you could be doing it on a machine, you could be using free weights, that's up to you. And you're, in the midst of a lift and you're doing reps. What you want to do is do those reps until you just can't move the weight in a positive motion, right? So you're trying, but it's, you're kind of stuck. I can't, my bicep at that point is just completely taxed. My biceps are just, I can't move it. And then what I try to do is then probably get a spot from Ben. And what we do is for what we would call forced reps. And forced reps are just, you're getting a spot and an aid and some help, and you're doing a few more reps, right? And so how you gauge that is, if you got 20 and it's easy and you could have gotten more, you need to kind of increase the weight a little bit, so that resistance is harder to achieve. And so that's kind of where you can measure, growth and change, is that, I started out and I could only do 10 of these. And then I did 3 or 4 forced reps, but at the most I was doing 14, but I had to have Ben help me. But then after a month, maybe I'm doing 15, and and only then do I need Ben to get me an extra 4, right? So I'm right on that border of, I could almost get 20. I'm sitting in that 19 mark, because that is really motivating to me, when I can see progress. And so that's the biggest goal, is that we lift in that sense with, just some goals in mind, but it's really hard to personalize it to my body and then personalize it to Ben's body, as it would be to yours, because you're different than I am. And so because we're all diverse, working towards failure is great, because Ben, that might be in the beginning, maybe he can wrap out, you know 15, and I can only get 10. But then we're doing failure. So then he's still challenging himself, and he knows that he's growing. And the next week, he's going to try to get 16 or 17 on his own. And then we'll do some forced reps. And so that's been something that's been successful for me in the past. And it keeps me motivated because I can track progress, right? I can see, that I'm increasing in strength. And really what we're increasing in is endurance, right? Like, the fact that I can do more reps at that weight, and I can get more reps in before I need Ben's help, for those forced reps, is growth, right? And so, we can do more reps, but then when we kind of hit that 20 mark and 20 becomes easy, where I can do 20, then let's pull the pin, if we're on a machine, and let's increase by a plate, and let's start over. And maybe I can only get, 10, and then I'm building up, and then I do the same thing until I can get 20, and 20 is fairly easy and consistent for me, before I need any help from Ben. Then I increase the weight again. And so the only way that I'm increasing, the weight, is I'm using that kind of 20 as a benchmark, to, if that comes easy and consistently, not like the first time I got 20, okay, now we're going to move up the weight. It's like, hey, for 3 weeks in a row, I've been able to get 20 before I need Ben's help, or even more than 20. And so once I can consistently achieve that, then we can move on and move the weight up. And so that's kind of what we're going to approach, kind of this 1-2, approach, where we're focusing on body parts, we're focusing on, high reps, low weight. And then we're, in addition to that, we're working towards failure. And so we got the cardio, we've got the targeted, resistance training, and we're pushing that, kind of working towards failure, to do those reps. And so that's something that you are going to be less likely for me to kind of herniate or strain, because I'm going to have to take it easy and really be careful on those forced reps. I'm going to really have to let Ben help me, substantially on those, until I feel like I, am beyond recovery, right? So as I ease back in, I probably won't push myself as hard in those forced reps as I will later, because I've still got to build that strength up, and I've got to, make sure that I'm healed up. And if my surgeon gives me thumbs up, everything looks good, then I'll start to, challenge. And I may have to, you know, push myself extra hard at that point. But right now, I just want to develop consistency and do this on a regular basis. And so I'm excited. I'm really excited to get back into, the gym. And I mean, if you've got any questions, of me, like, then send me, email, hit me on DM on Facebook, or you can hit me on the Stages page on Facebook, or you can hit me at Pete Heiniger and look me up. You can't, this is the guy that has a big beard. Kind of hard to get me wrong. But yeah, let's be real honest with, I'm not trying to, espouse some exercise program or be some, super trainer or anything like that. That's not my goal. But I did think it was important to kind of talk about, one, the positive aspects. You always want to get back to where you were prior to surgery. You always want to get like, okay, if I can just get back to there, and then I want to build on that. And if I can build on that and I can build on consistency, then that is a huge investment in my future, right? I'm doing as much as I can to stay at the best health that I can. Okay. Diet goes with that. My diet is kind of controlled in that, with the type of cancer that I have to kind of really at times watch what I eat. I'm not perfect at that, and I don't think anybody is. I think, you got to give yourself some grace, but I have to just kind of watch everything because I have different physical challenges with colon cancer than the average person. So I've got to I have some of my diet very much dictated to me, especially water intake. I'm probably like 2 to 3 times more water than the average person who does do a good job at drinking water. So just know that. So diet's important, and water is important as part of that. But getting in resistance training and cardio is super important too. And you'll hear it from your nurses to your doctors to your oncologists, will be super happy, and you'll put a smile on their face when they hear that you're in the gym and you're working out and you're moving. And one of the worst things that we can do when we fight cancer is to just let it get take us so out of everything that we just kind of retreat to the house. And because fatigue will just continue to grow, right? I'm going to tell you right now, when I was getting up every morning and working out with Ben, there were a ton of mornings where I was exhausted. I was fatigued. And it wasn't just, like, oh, I don't want to get up in the morning, kind of thing that you'd have before cancer. This was, I feel bad because I just went through chemo. I was working out while on chemo. So I had, a bag with a pump on, and I was at the gym, and Ben would hold the bag while I had my pump in there while I was working out. And that wasn't easy. That's super, you feel sick, you feel nauseous, and you feel fatigued. But I'm telling you, I felt so much better when I pushed myself and did that. And here's something that I'll tell you. I constantly run into people who learn about my story, and somebody told them about stages, or somebody told them about my fight against cancer, and they'll meet me for the first time, and it's be a physical meeting. I just recently met in a video conference, the first time we'd actually talk face to face, kinda, not really in person, but on video, with the CEO of the company I work for. And he was taken back by, wow, you've got great color, you look good. Not what I thought you would look like, because he's been praying for me for the last 2 months, and knew that I had surgeries, and knew that I was in recovery, and knew that I had been sick and I needed rest and different things like that. So he had in his mind a complete, like somebody who maybe didn't have any hair, probably didn't have a beard, had lost those things through therapy, and might look weak and pale and all those things. And that's not the case, and that hasn't been the case. And I want to say, like, I attribute that really significantly to that regimen and partnering with Ben, because that's the biggest thing that I want you to take from this. Like, there are a lot of important parts of this, consistency, being fully committed, trying to get 4 to 5 workouts per week in, and be really committed and consistent to that. But it all starts with having a partner. To me, our humanity can kick in, and we can just make excuses and if you are fighting cancer and you are in treatment and you feel exhausted, you will make excuses when nobody else, like, no, who's going to know? Like, nobody's keeping track of how many times you're at the gym. When you have a partner, your partner knows, right? you got to call and you got to cancel. And I did that at times, so I was safe. I wasn't ridiculous when I felt out of it, or I just couldn't do it, or I had some appointment or something, I would call Ben and say, hey, listen, I can't do it. I'm just not feeling it. And so I was, you can be smart that way, but you also have built-in accountability, right? Ben's going to text me the next day. Hey, are we going? Right? Hey, are we going tomorrow? Are we going to, and so there's that aspect of accountability. And because of my friendship with Ben, like, I don't want to, crap out of the workout. Like I really, it means a lot to me that he's willing to sacrifice his time in his morning, to pick me up, to bring me there, to work out with me, sometimes to hold my chemo pump when I'm going through stuff. So I just want to say, like, get yourself a committed friend who is a partner who can work out with you. Get yourself a workout partner so that you can be successful in the long term. You won't regret it. All right. So let's just close with that. Be consistent, get in there, get to the gym, blend cardio with some sort of resistance training if you can. Again, I'm not going to pretend to be a guru or advocate, some philosophy. I'm just going to tell you what I'm doing. A lot of that is dictated because of my age and my struggle against cancer and recovery from surgery. And so that's kind of what we're doing. All right. Hey, I love all of you. And I am super happy and pumped and stoked. So I hope that comes out, that I am so excited to be able to get back to the gym. This is something that I've missed. It definitely, I had no control over it. I was given strict orders: do not lift weights, do not push yourself with cardio, because you need to recover. But now that I'm kind of on that road to recovery and whatnot, I can kind of ease back in. And then when I start feeling strong, then we can push it a little bit more. But I'm excited to get back and to really see the benefits, because I do feel like I'm more exhausted and more tired and less the person I want to be, because I haven't been able to work out. So I'm excited about all that. So hey, love you guys. You guys have a great week, and we'll see you for the next episode of Stages Podcast.